Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. How are you all today? I don't know how many times I have to greet you all. Luckily, we shifted Diamond Sutra away. Okay, let's see. Who is Christine Meschler? Would you like to turn on your webcam? Looks like someone new, or not. Let's see. Hello. Is this the first time you join us for SGC? Joined before? I can't hear you.
I sign on occasionally.
Okay. So you've been to Buddhist Library joining us in person?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Not during this whole COVID period though.
Before lah.
Yeah.
I see. Hope you're keeping well.
Oh yes.
So today's topic, let's see. Today's topic is about my teacher. So what should we do? 怀念妙境长老. So today's program is, I think it's hosted by Sai Kiang. So Sai Kiang, what do we do now? 我是不怀念人的人。
We'll listen to 师父 talk about 妙境长老.
I thought you all managed to invite my teacher to give a talk. Or I thought you have arranged a series of his clips to play during the SGC. Then after that, you all can ask questions and I can answer. Get me to talk about him, about my teacher. 上妙下敬老和尚，剃度恩师 my someone I'm most grateful to besides my parents. To be very honest, I don't know much about him. Whatever I know, I read about him. Yeah. I think, in a way, on the day when I called my mom to tell my mom that I want to ordain, and my teacher asked, no, not my teacher, my mom asked me who this master is. I think I know as much as at that point in time. In a sense that I don't know about his, I don't know that much about his history. Yeah. Although here and there he did share with us his adventures. Yeah. The first time I heard about him was, that I can recall, was during the second novice retreat. We were waiting to, I think we were in the Dharma hall waiting, either waiting to go for alms round or waiting to go to Cameron Highlands. Yeah. Because it was organized in Comingsun, but the second retreat we went to Cameron Highlands. So while we were sitting there and chatting, among the three of us, my good friend, can be considered best friend, Cheng Sun, and then he was my ex-colleague. And then there was another guy, Shi Yao, who is also our ex-colleague, At that point in time, Cheng Sun was still working, so is his colleague. They have known each other for a number of years. I sort of know Shi Yao because he's also from creative technology. So they were chatting, and then they mentioned about this master, and then they were talking about his center in US, and then my good friend Cheng Sun said mentioned about how, hey, 是要长老不是说你要出家要就是50岁之前还可以出家，yeah, that saying that the other colleague, he can still go for ordination, yeah, before before he reached 50, and I think the following year he was 50, yeah. So not my teacher, that Shi Yang. So then they were talking about whether to go or not to go, dida dida dida. And then next thing you know, they were like, the Shi Yang was saying, okay, if Cheng Sun, if he were to ordain, then he will ordain. And then next thing you know, Cheng Sun say, if I ordain, then he will ordain. Then I turn around and say, 你们不要搞我啊 I only sign up for this 10 days. After that, I'm going back to work. You all don't come and disturb me. That's your problem. Yeah. And then my best friend told me that he's going to US next year, the following year, to attend the retreat, 21 days retreat with under my teacher. Yeah. So yeah, so he asked me, how want to go together? So I'm like, okay, let's go. I also don't know who he is. Yeah, let's go. But in fact, the following year after the retreat, I went to Japan, spent a hole in my wallet. So honestly, on the flight back, I was having second thoughts. I was like, wow, this trip to Japan burned a hole. Wow. Then another trip to US, just the air ticket itself will burn another hole. Then 21 days retreat burn another big hole in the annual leave. Yeah. Actually, when I went to US, I was taking advanced annual leave. I was advancing the whole year's leave, max out. Yeah. Still, I didn't know who he is. I only know his name, Miao Jing Zhanglao. So anyway, I went over. Then, okay, nice place. Any place is nice when you're having jet lag and you are sleeping half the time. Yeah, just early morning. That's when I managed to wake up early in the morning because having jet lag. So, then early morning go into the hall. It's like, what, 4 o'clock. Yeah. So for a few days, I just keep on going there and sleep, sit there and then sleep. By the time it's lunchtime, okay, not so bad. Wake up a bit, then listen to my teacher give teachings. Lunchtime we'll have our meal. Yeah, it's a formal meal. As lay participants, then we'll do 巡堂, cook house duty. Then every meal he will do some short sharing. Yeah, And then in the afternoon, he will give a bit more sharing. Then we'll do more sitting, sit, sleep, sleep. Yeah. So even up to this point, all I know is he teach meditation. All I know is that he don't that he's from China, and he organized his monastery quite differently from a typical Chinese Mahayana monastery. Yeah, the monastery that he organized focuses on two things. Yeah, the practice of meditation, the learning of the teachings. Yeah, these are the two main things he say. Whoever wants to come up to his monastery, you must be interested to do this thing. You must want to learn the teachings, and you must want to meditate. Otherwise, don't come up. Yeah. Then, of course, on the third or fourth day, then he gave the teaching on the difference between the different types of Buddhists, and also the difference between an enlightened and unenlightened person. Yeah, I've shared this story many times. Still, none of you got so touched you all want to ordain, so don't want to share anymore. But I remember that lunch as I was sitting there. So whenever he starts speaking, I will put down my bowl and listen. Yeah. There was no rule saying that we must do that, but it was just very natural. Someone senior, someone that you somehow you're in awe of. When he's speaking, you automatically stop everything you're doing and you just give the person 100% attention. So as I was listening, then he tell us about the two. I think he mentioned a few things, but these are the two things that really hit me. As I was listening, then I started to cry. I think my rice almost become porridge. Yeah. And it was quite embarrassing because there were other monks, other lay people, and then I was so I was trying to like keep my stop myself from making too much noise. And then at some point he finished, and then we 结斋, still can't stop. Yeah. Then after that, in between, then another one of the senior monks talked to me, and then he said that, looks like you have wholesome roots. What are you waiting for? Your next life, maybe go to hell. You still don't make good use of the human life. But actually, before, more or less before I talk, that senior monk talked to me, I was already off the age. Yeah. So then I told my good friend Ching Sun that I wanted to, I think I want to ordain. And I said, come, let's go and tell our Sifu. And then I think it was the next day already. Maybe evening time. Maybe it was evening time. Anyway, I met him. The two of us ambush him. Ambush him because it's during the retreat, so the whole day having sitting. So we ambush him outside the meditation hall. He was walking away from the hall or something. So I ambush him. And then, but the moment I saw him, I I don't know what to say. Yeah. So in the end, my Dharma brother Cheng Sun, he said, 他要出家。so I did oh, then he smiled and then, oh, 恭喜你. Then he just walked off. Yeah. So in a way, that was the first time I talked to him, or the first time I didn't manage to talk to him. Yeah. Not that he's fierce or anything, but somehow, so much awe, and then you just speechless. Hard to imagine us speechless. Then in between, we went to see him. I think I saw him twice. The first time, then Cheng Sun asked him some question. I think he asked him about 中观 and Vesak. That he has some questions and he said that he feel this way or that way. At that point in time, I have no clue what he's talking about. Then after that, talked to my teacher. My teacher talked to me. Then he asked me what is my or he asked me he talked about how the ordination, how things like that. Yeah. Then I told him that I can't, I'm not very good in Chinese. So he looked at me, then he wondered, then he said, what is your highest education level? So I said, 大学毕业. Then he laughed. He said, 大学应该可以了. he didn't know that Singapore 大学, Singapore University Chinese, it can be C5, C6 one. Luckily, he didn't know. If he knew, probably he'd say, I think you go back and learn more Chinese before you come. But no lah, because he actually admitted some Western American as well. Then he gave me an exercise. He told me to write diary. Yeah, every day, write diary. Write down the things up. Write down. Basically, it's basically an exercise for me to practice Chinese. So I was supposed to write it down in Chinese. Yeah. It's been many years since I wrote Chinese. Yeah. My teacher. So I think that's the first. That's the talk that he gave was the very compassionate thing to do that he did for me. Yeah, because it got me to realize that I'm not enlightened. Yeah. So in the same way, those who get you upset, they are like your teacher. They get you to know you are not enlightened. Of course, later I found out more that he's from Northeast China, and he shared in his classes that he didn't even finish primary school. Yeah. That he's 乡村小孩. He always say, 我是乡村小孩，这些是大学生，他们来跟我出家。Yeah. It's a pity y'all don't get to meet him. Yeah. When I was in US, one of the things that he did that really surprised me was when there was this other monk from China who came over to learn to learn with him. So one of the other monk went to pick him up. So when the car arrived, my teacher is a very senior monk. My teacher went to receive him and bow down. I was like, eh? 有点, yeah. I remember in the past when my mom bring me to the temple, and whenever we see some, either the abbot or some monks, my mom would say, quick, prostrate, prostrate. Then I'll be like, uh, yeah. Yeah. Until I went for short-term ordination. When I went after short-term ordination, then somehow it was very natural. I see any monk, then I just prostrate, even in the open public. Yeah. At least a bow, if not full prostration. But then when I see my teacher, that visiting monk, he's definitely a junior. He has ordained for many years, although he's physically younger than me. Yeah, age-wise he's younger than me, but he has ordained for many years. Yeah, at that point in time, my teacher was already ordained for I think 50, 60 years. Yeah. So, but yet when he actually bowed down. Yeah. I don't recall him explicitly explaining it, but from all the different teachings he gave, I can say that that was his way of welcoming someone who put in the effort to learn the Dharma, to show his appreciation, that he respect the effort that you are putting in. Because it's not easy to come over from China to go to US to learn the teachings. Yeah. So just now I mentioned about how he's quite atypical. Yeah, the temple, we don't emphasize on chanting. Every morning, when I first went up to the monastery, every day in the evening, in the morning, we recite 7 times the Great Compassionate Mantra. And then we recite the Heart Sutra, then the 3 Refuge. Yeah. Then after that, dedication. Then we do a bit of walking, then we start sitting. So this is very different. Yeah. Truth be told, if the monastery that that is under him actually do as much chanting as other temple, I probably wouldn't ordain there. Yeah. Part of the reason why I didn't ordain Singapore, but my mom was so surprised. She's like, why it's not as though you've never been to other temples in Singapore. Why do you go all the way there and then choose to ordain there? Yeah. So in a way, that's one reason. Yeah. That's my reason. I'm not saying that that's the best reason. Yeah. It doesn't mean that others who choose to ordain in Singapore make a wrong choice. We all have different affinity. Yeah. I just happen to have affinity towards this form of learning and practices. The other thing I must say is that throughout the retreat, he repeatedly emphasized on cultivation. Yeah, cultivation of 不净观、无我观、缘起性空观。Yeah. He also gave some teachings on the Yogacara teachings. Yeah, 唯识. Yeah. I remember he mentioned about 二取空. Yeah. Then, and most importantly, he gave me the confidence that, yeah, enlightenment is possible. Yeah. Yeah, enlightenment is possible. I remember there was a student, that was 6 years later, after I come back. Then there was one student, he just came back from a pilgrimage in India. So when he came back, he came back to attend the group cultivation. It was not known as SGC back then. It was just group cultivation. And then it was quite funny because he shared with me his pilgrimage. And he told me that, oh, he met this oracle here, he met an arahant there, this Rinpoche there, all kinds of, all the different great cultivators. But then when he stopped when he mentioned about the arahant, so I asked him, how do you know that he's an arahant? So then the student said, because the others told him that that cultivator is an arahant. So I said, then, well, okay. Then why are you here? Then he's like, huh? I said, yeah, why are you here? You met an arahant. Why are you here? Then he said, well, the pilgrimage was over, so I came back. And I told him, but you just said that you met an arahant. If I met an arahant, I don't care about the visa problem. I just dig a hole, hide myself there, chain myself to the ground. I won't come back. If you really believe you met an arahant, why are you here? And I told him, I said, I don't even know whether my teacher is enlightened. All I know is he's more enlightened than me. And that was all it is needed for me to say, okay, I'm going to go and learn under him. So in case if you all ever meet someone who is an arahant, I don't want to see you again until you are enlightened. Don't either that or don't tell me you met an arahant because it's just a nice idea. Yeah. People like to meet arahants, but don't like to learn under arahants. Yeah, they just want to take photo. Arahant can take photo with you. Then go around. I met arahant. No. I met arahant. Yeah. Yeah, my teacher. I remember he often tell us this. He says, on the first day of my ordination, I offered him all my angbao. I wasn't expecting him to be super happy or anything, but it was just partly because I didn't know what to do with the money, because like I just took the 10 precepts right at that point in time. Then one of the senior monks said, offer to 供养师傅. Oh, okay, good idea. So then, 供养师傅. Then I look up, then his face was very black. He looked at me. 我们都是出家人，出家人之间不要谈钱。This is a far cry from what I heard from other people. There are other students who told me that when they went to some centers and they asked whether they can go for higher ordination, they were told they must bring all their savings and donate to the center. Yeah. Or something like that. My teacher never asked me for anything. All he asks is, you must learn the Dharma, learn to meditate, Then he had another criteria for me, but the one I don't tell you. Yeah. And he often tell us, 要有人请你讲课，然后你就来告假，我要去讲课。Yeah. Last time I heard of some of the monks and nuns about how, like, they are invited to give a talk, right? And then they will go on and on about how actually they are not really keen to give the talk. That they don't feel that they are ready to give a talk. But the teacher has asked them many times to that they should go and give some teachings. Then after many years, then they decided, okay, they'll give a talk. So last time I always feel like that's a bit too extreme humility is hypocrisy. Yeah, I'm just being honest again. But over the years, I start to appreciate why they would feel that way. Yeah, because it's actually great responsibilities to be teaching. Yeah. And it is very compassionate of my teacher to tell us to focus on the teachings, to focus on learning. And because there are some of the seniors, they would sometimes go out and give teachings. Yeah. So my teacher kept on highlighting, don't be so eager to go and teach. Yeah. You stay here, you just have to focus on learning. Don't have to do anything else, just focus on learning. We don't even have to organize puja to raise fund, Nothing. When I was there, my life is very senang. very different from now. I don't have to manage volunteers. Don't have to have when we have retreat every week, we don't have to do planning on retreat. Time's up. Someone take the wood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Then everybody just go and meditate. Don't have to. Not so complicated. Yeah. The time schedule is the same every day. Yeah. That's why whenever volunteers ask me, 师傅, what is the schedule? I'm like, what keep asking me about schedule? every day is the same. Yeah. Yeah, our life there is very simple. Yeah. Morning 3 plus, wake up, the duty monk, piap, 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 piap. Then 4 a.m. start puja. Puja finish, walk finish, meditate. Then meditate finish, read Diamond Sutra. About 4:20, 4:30 to 6, we meditate. 6 to 6:25, we read Diamond Sutra. 6:30, have breakfast. Breakfast finish, our own time to do practices, reading. Over there, nothing, really nothing. If you don't like to do reading, you don't like to learn Dharma, don't like to meditate, you go there, you'll go crazy. Yeah. When I was there, I served as guest monk. So I received guests and arranged for their lodging. And then those visitors, I will have to talk to them also. Then the shortest visit was one night. Yeah, I told this story many times, but I must say this story again. Yeah, the man from Florida. I can't remember his name. At that point in time, I was maybe like early 30s. Yeah. Maybe just 30 years old or 31 years old. So he visited our monastery. He is probably at that point in time, probably in his 40s. Yeah. So now should be 50 plus 60 already. Yeah. So he got to know the nuns when the nuns went to the what you call it, to the university in Florida to teach, to organize a retreat. So he was very interested. He flew over, but then because he's a guy, so the nuns sent him to us. Yeah. So I assigned him a room, told him where it's where, everything, told him the schedule, then bid him good rest, good night. The next day, I think he came for sitting a bit late, but not uncommon lah. Who wake up at 3 plus in the morning, unless you're having insomnia, you know, or jet lag. Then when he what happened? Oh, after the breakfast, I was in the kitchen area. I was, I think, on duty. Then he called me. Then he said he needed to talk to me. So we sat down, we talked a bit. Then at some point he told me he need to go to the South Campus. I asked him why. He said he didn't bring his toiletries. I said, oh, don't worry. Toiletries is a small problem. Our store has all the toiletries you can use. You need toothbrush, you need toothpaste, you need soap, you need shampoo, you need shaver, anything. Just take. Later I bring you over. Then he think about it. Actually, I didn't bring my extra clothing. It's in the bag in the South Campus. I say, oh, your clothing? Don't worry. Our store, we have all kinds of clothing also. We have the slacks, we have t-shirt, we have jacket, we have glove, we have cap. Yeah, what do you need? Then his eyes, he had the look of despair. and then he broke down and cried. When he's 40 plus year old, I'm early 30s. I wasn't even scolding him. He just started crying. I mean, I'm making it light, but at that moment I was like, what just happened? And then he told me honestly, he said, I'll be very honest with you. I can't stand it. Since last night when you settled me in the dormitory, I haven't seen another person. I haven't heard another sound. No birds chirping, no insect sound, no cars, not even a plane. The only sound I heard was the snow sliding off the roof. I can't stand the silence. I'm going crazy. I was like, yeah. So in the end, we had to send him over. Yeah, cannot. That's the shortest. The next shortest is visiting monastic. So the first night, I settled him in. Then the second night, around that time, I was very, what call it? During my stay in US, there was some period of time where I'm very hermit. Yeah, I wear a tag, 词语. Imagine like you do it for a retreat. How long? 1 week, 1 month. I wear that for a few months. Don't talk to anyone. Tell you, in the monastery, you can do all kind of crazy things. So, but then during that time, I decided, this fellow monk from another center come all the way here to, I should go and say hello a bit. So on the second night, I decided, okay, I should, 尽地主之谊. Yeah, as a resident here, I should go and welcome him. Maybe bring him something, housewarming a bit, room warming, but not on the door. Then he invited me in. I went in. Then I looked at his room. Then I said, I noticed that his luggage is still there. It's not open yet. So I said, 哎，你还没有打开行李啊？你还没有整理？ Then he said, 哦，法师啊，我需要你帮个忙。He said, Venerable, I need help from you. I said, what help? He said, 我需要你帮我订一个灰狗 bus. I need you to get a Greyhound ticket. In the US, they have the interstate bus, right? It's called Greyhound. I was like, yesterday you just arrived. Second night, he asked me to get him a ticket. Yeah. So on the third day, he left. Yeah. I think it's not that they are not good in cultivation. It's just that the mismatch. Yeah. Some people at some point of the path, they are able, they find it suitable to practice in that kind of environment. Some people, you can say that they are not ready, or you can say that they are not suitable. Yeah, or the place is not suitable for them. Yeah. So what does all this mean? To me, it is that my teacher is very compassionate. He set up a place, like he don't charge us anything, I mean, we just have to take care of our own air ticket. You fly there, everything is taken care of. Yeah. He don't come and hint to you. He don't hint to you and say, 各位法师，我们来这边很吉祥，你们都很有福报。Oh no, I must speak English. He don't say things like, dear venerables and lay people, it's very good for you to come here. It's very auspicious. You all are very meritorious to have come here, to have this place. But unfortunately, you all notice if you all walk behind, that part is leaking. So if only we can get it repaired, then we won't have like this. He never. In all you listen to any of the talk, he tell a lot of stories, but he never once make this kind of statement. So when you go there, right, you really focus, the only thing you can focus on is the Dharma. Yeah. Yeah. So that's very compassionate of him. He really 不跟你谈钱. Even my first retreat there, yeah, it was, I don't recall there being a charge, or was there even a charge? I mean, we just voluntarily donate some amount of money. Yeah. So our monastery, and later on when I served, when I was in charge of certain duties, I would have to go down to run errands, collect mail and things like that. Then I realized that somehow every now and then there are people who send us checks. Yeah. So my teacher told us this story, and I think this is a very common story in Chinese Mahayana tradition. He said, long time ago in China, there was this monastery, and the monks there were practicing. So they practice, but then because they are in a mountain, so sometimes nobody know about you. Then then you check up you, then you eat yourself. You have no support. So then something like some of the monks, then they were a bit concerned, like, how? Yeah. Then the Lao和尚just told them, we just focus on the Dharma, we focus on the practice. Yeah. And then out of the blue, one day, suddenly there was a guy who come up the mountain with a lot of things for them to use. And then they were like puzzled. We are in the middle of nowhere. Like, what, who sent you? Yeah, how did you find us? So he said, oh, he actually didn't know about them. He said that he was passing by a nearby area. Then someone told him that there is a temple out here and there are people practicing there and running low on resource. So told him to go and do this. Then they asked, who is that person? They say that person looks like a general, like an army person, you know. They say, who is that? They look, that's the guy. 韦陀菩萨 one of the Dharma guardian in the Chinese monastery. I don't know how true this is. I don't know how true this is. I'm a skeptic. Yeah, but it's a story that I keep close to heart. Yeah. Yeah. In the monastery, so this is the other aspect about the monastery. We don't do fundraising. Yeah, we don't do fundraising. Yeah. So the volunteers in the society, those volunteers you're in the society, you may be wondering, how come our society don't do fundraising one? What to do? You go and ask Sikong. Yeah. We oftentimes talk about 信解行正, right? Faith. Yeah. But oftentimes our faith is faith only in the Dharma hall. Our faith is faith only when we are talking about Dharma. Then we have faith. But when it comes to makan, food, no more faith. When it comes to day-to-day things, no more faith. Yeah. But yeah. So from all these small little things, I get to know him. Yeah. How he look at things, his attitude towards the path. The last thing he told us before he went to Taiwan was 凡事要往道上会. Yeah. No matter what happens, you must align yourself towards the Dharma, towards the path. Yeah. Then no problem. 不往道上会，那就有问题。Yeah. That the word 道 not the Taoism Tao, the same word, but here is referring to the path. Yeah, the Buddha Dharma. The other thing that strikes me very deeply is the way he answers questions. I remember a few of the venerables would often ask questions. Yeah. And it's not just after during classes, sometimes after classes, sometimes after lunch. Usually after lunch, for those who have gone to the monastery, you know that the main meditation hall, then there is 2 square blocks of like trees and grass, and then there's the walking path for you to do walking meditation. Although most of the time you can't walk there because it's too cold. Then there's the administrative block and the dining hall. So after meal, you will go to the administrative block, and then there's a guest area. So he'll sit there and rest a bit. And then usually some of the monks would take the opportunity to talk to him and sometimes ask him questions. I remember once when I went in there, I saw another monk who is about 1 year my senior, and he was asking my teacher questions. By any standard, most people would feel that it's very rude. My teacher was seated, and then that fellow monk who was asking question, he was seated like that. 师傅啊，这个哇，I tell you, wow, the rest of us, at that point in time, I don't know how to feel because he's my senior. I mean, he's 1 year my senior, and my teacher seemed to take it in his stride. But the other senior monks didn't like it. Yeah, but my teacher was appeared very enthusiastically answering his questions. Yeah, so it was very interesting. I not that not that my teacher has like favoritism or anything, but basically anyone who asked my teacher questions, he would address it very wholeheartedly. Yeah, and this is despite the kind of you all try, you all sit, you don't sit properly and ask questions, you see what happens. Students have been told off by me sitting, like just leaning against the chair. I say, sit up, sit up straight. Yeah. Then I'm glad I managed to find 2 opportunities to ask him questions during that 6 months and 1 day when he was still around. Yeah. And similarly, during those sessions, he struck me very deeply on the kind of attitude one should have towards learning Dharma and asking questions. I remember the second time I went to see him and ask him, it was with regards to the Mahana Sangraha. There was this verse that described the Shravaka disciples in not a very good light. So before I start, he told me, he said, "You are a monk. I'm also a monk. When you are here to ask questions, I'm not your teacher. We are both monks. Just ask your questions." Yeah. 你是出家人，我也是出家人。你来问问题的时候，我不是你的师父，你就问你的问题。Yeah. To me, that is most remarkable. Yeah. So he really focused on just the Dharma, and not just him. He wants you to just focus on the Dharma, because it's very easy when you're speaking to a senior to self-censor, Yeah, to self-censor. But it doesn't mean that he just give you free rein and blank check to any how as well. So I told him my question. I said I about the verse that I take issue with. Then he said, like, why? What's wrong with it? And I told him, I said, the 阿含经不这样讲. I said that in the Agamas, in the Nikaya, it doesn't say that. Yeah. So he looked at me, then he asked me, so have you finished reading all the Agama? Then at that point in time, I just ordained less than 6 months. So I 还没有 not yet. And then he looked at me, then he said, then maybe when you finish reading, then you think again. Yeah. years later, over the years, I start to appreciate why that verse is the way it is. Yeah, why that verse is the way it is. Yeah. So and it's because even in the Nikayas, the Buddha himself stated that the Buddha has some distinct qualities that is different from the Arahants. Yeah. But that's another thing. Yeah. It's about my teacher, how he put people at ease. Yeah. So that you can focus on the Dharma, ask your questions. Yeah. Some of you kena from me before. When you ask questions, usually I like to think that when students ask questions, I will answer the questions. Some students say that I am too patient. I don't know. I always feel that I'm very impatient. Yeah, but I must say, only when students, the worst thing that can come from a student is they ask a question and then halfway answering, then they say, Shifu, or I think better don't take up everybody's time. It's okay, it's okay. Well, I really cannot stand this kind of statements. And one of the reason is usually students say this when I disagree with them. when I agree with them, nobody ever, nobody ever said, "Oh, Shifu, I think I better don't waste everybody's time." When I'm agreeing with them, no. But when I disagree with them, I tear down their question and point out some logical fallacy, then this statement will come out. This is what the kind of statement following a question that I don't accept. I'm like, if you think that this is wasting everybody's time, you should have asked your question. Ask a question. Let's sort it out. don't you cannot half fry an egg, You crack the egg already. Once you crack it, you must fry it. You cannot say you want to crack egg, then crack halfway, then hey, maybe we don't fry lah. Then how? The egg already out. The egg is out already. Or you cook instant noodle. Cook halfway, 1 minute later, you need 3 minutes. 1 minute later, 还是不要吃了. Cannot. So what to do? You all don't have the merits to meet my teacher. You meet the teacher student. This one. Yeah, but my teacher also said last time he used to scold students. Now he don't scold students. Why? Because there was once he told off a student. Then the next day the student come and pay respect to him and ask to take leave. 我骂徒弟，徒弟就跟我告假，所以我现在不骂徒弟了。But don't be mistaken. The way I understand it, it is not that he's afraid he has no students. His concern is that the student after leaving wouldn't learn Dharma. Yeah, because in many other times he highlighted, he says, our gate is not locked, it's open. You are free to come, you are free to go. Most important, he said, he don't have the mindset, oh, you come here to learn, you cannot go elsewhere. He said, he don't have this kind of mindset. Important thing is, after you leave, do you continue to learn Dharma? Yeah. So I feel that his reason for when he said that, oh, now he don't scold students, because if he scold, the students go away. I feel that it is out of compassion, yeah, so that at least the students stay for 1 day, you learn 1 more day of Dharma, yeah, because he teach practically almost the whole week. Even on the days where there's no class, he would sometimes give some teachings during lunch. Yeah. So hard to come by. Hard to come by. So please, if you're after COVID-19, you'll go on pilgrimage, you'll meet some Arahant. I don't want to see you again until you come back as an Arahant. Don't come back and tell me, 师父, wow, I went to this country, I went to that country, I met an Arahant. Then you come back, you don't waste your time. Come back for what? And don't come and tell me, no, 师父, I can also learn from you, ma. Then why do you go? Why do you go on that pilgrimage for? If you can learn from me, then why do you go for the pilgrimage? One of the statement is wrong. Yeah. This is 2021. I ordained in 2002, so it's been 19 years. Yeah, I came back in 2006. Yeah, this is actually one of the first time we actually put up this photo during SGC. Yeah. Some students may feel like, hey, Sifu, how come other temples, they will always have a memorial service for the Sifu. They will, have some celebration of some sort. How come Sifu don't do that? I don't know whether I like to think that my teacher would rather that we focus on the teachings than focus on him. Yeah. I remember when he told us that he told us a dream that he had, which was indicative that he was going to pass away soon. And then one of the senior 古化法师 then look at me, we look at each other, and they're like, 师父要死报了，我们赶快。So asked me, the two of us immediately kneel down and asked him to stay on. Yeah. Then before that, he was very jovially talking about about his dream. Then the moment we kneel down and asked him to stay on, he looked at me, then he's like, oh, actually I said something else. I said, because I have not attained enlightenment yet. So how can you go off now? Then his face turned very serious and he looked at me, he said, 你得不得圣道跟我没关系。Whether you attain enlightenment or not has nothing to do with him. Yeah. I was like, because usually you read in the sutta, right? When you know that a teacher or the Buddha is going, then the attendant must quickly make a request. Then during that trip, the first 30 days of my monkhood, I was the attendant, at least for 2 of the weeks. So wow, quickly, then first time I do this duty, then kena scolded. So the best way to know my teacher actually is not through me. Just go to fayin.org, go and read the transcripts, go and listen to the Dhamma talks. Yeah. Yeah. But I would say a good part of everything most of the things I've taught, a good part of it can be attributed to my teacher. But if I get anything wrong, it's my fault. I must have remembered wrongly. Yeah. So I hope this introduces you to this great master, great teacher. Yeah. And plant the seed. Yeah. That maybe in future you have opportunity to meet my teacher himself. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛，
阿弥陀佛。
起立。